More than 20 years ago now, when I was writing The Rhythm of Life, I spent 6 months in an old monastery about an hour north of Vienna in Austria. Next to the monastery there was this enormous field, and it had all these trees in it, but right in the middle of this field was this one enormous tree. And one night this great storm come blowing through the place, and when I woke up the next morning, the trees were everywhere. I mean, being blown out of the ground. Enormous trees, but this one big tree in the middle of the field, like it looked like it hadn't even lost a leaf. It became a great reflection point for me over the years. It became a great point of meditation for me over the years, because I started to think about, okay, what made that tree different? All these other trees got blown over, limbs blown off. Why was this tree able to stand so strong and tall in the midst of the storm? The conclusion I've come to over the years is that a tree with strong roots can weather any storm. Now, in your life and my life, the question is not, is there going to be a storm? I'm afraid that is not the question. The wise person asks the question, when is the next storm getting here? It isn't a matter of whether or not there's going to be a storm. There are going to be storms in our lives. The question is, when is the next storm going to get here? And when the next storm gets here, it's too late to sink the roots. The habit of prayer sinks deep roots into our lives. It grounds us, and it allows us to weather the highs and lows of life in extraordinary ways. Extraordinary ways. My challenge to you today is to challenge yourself to 21 days of prayer. 21 days of prayer, 10 minutes a day, 21 days. They say it takes 21 days to create a new habit. I want to challenge you. If you haven't already started, why haven't you started? You've probably got reasons or excuses or justifications, but it probably just comes down to resistance. It's hard to get that momentum. It's hard to break through resistance. You got to break through resistance or wake up in the morning, to get out of bed in the morning. And it's going to take breaking through resistance to establish a habit of daily prayer. So break through that resistance, establish the habit of prayer, 10 minutes a day, 21 days. It will change your life. As you go through these 21 days, I want you to make some notes. Jot down, how are your days different? How are your days different because you started with prayer and reflection? How are your days different because you started with a little bit of silence and solitude? Jot it down so you can see the journey you're making, so you can refer back to the journey you're making. You have the heart of a lion, okay? You have the heart of a lion. You might be distracted, you might have been discouraged, but God wants you to get back in touch with the heart of a lion that you have, so that you can live life boldly and courageously and celebrate the best version of yourself at every turn. And all of that begins with prayer.